What's up, guys? It has been a long time since I posted a video, and that has been for a very good reason, and that reason is this is an NA2T swapped car now. It was naturally aspirated and now it is turbocharged. I used a stock block, I used a stock exhaust manifold, and basically just slapped a turbo on and called it a day. And so I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I'm going to do a in-depth video on every single thing that I've done, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on what is going on with the Z right now. So if you can't tell, this is some intercooler piping in here. So I went ahead and stuck the turbo in the stock location. It's down there, a little bit difficult to see. And this is the HX35 turbo. I got this one on Amazon from Black Horse Racing. This is the biggest turbo you can fit in the stock location, and then even that has an asterisk next to it. I had to modify my turbo, the exhaust housing a little bit. It had some stuff on it that there were just like bolt holes that I had to cut off in order to get it to not hit my frame rail. But now it is actually just it's like a millimeter away from hitting my frame rail, but I am on solid mounts. I don't know if you can see, I went ahead and got a Past Power Innovations solid mount kit. This side is actually still on the original rubber just because it's a little bit more difficult to get to, and the solid mounts actually drop the car down a little, or the engine down a little bit. So if I wanted to give a little bit more clearance on that side, I could go ahead and it would rotate just slightly to the other direction. But let me go ahead and give you a quick run through. So I had an HX35 down there. It's difficult to see right now with the lighting. And then it goes to I believe it's an 18 by 6 by 3 intercooler down here. So this is mounted at an angle with the rest of the radiator and everything. So right now I have a radiator on top, my AC condenser in the middle, and then that on the bottom. Now it is a tight fit. I mean, it is a really tight fit. And so what a lot of people will do is they'll actually come over the radiator with 2.5-inch piping, and they'll have a top-to-top intercooler. So it comes, I think the way they do it is it comes in on here and then goes over, up, and then there's a 90 and then out to avoid this radiator pipe. But I bought just an absolutely massive, and I will put a disclaimer, this is not necessary for anything under like 600 or 500 horsepower. It is a massive intercooler, but I wanted a big one just cause guys, because I don't really care about boost lag or anything. I just wanted a fun car. So this is a really big intercooler, unnecessary. And so my piping, I did have to cut holes in the fender. Yeah, that is -1 on the purity. But it's pretty much identical on either side. So the turbo goes out into here, and then through the intercooler to the other side, and then out and around. So I really didn't want to have to cut it, but I had to make the intercooler head fit, so it ended up being just like that. I did go ahead and paint it though, so it will not rust, and I really recommend that if you guys do that. I did remove a lot of the emission stuff when I was doing this. I have block-off plates on the manifold, as you can see. Those are also from Past Power Innovations. Basically, I just wanted to kind of simplify everything down. This no longer has to pass emissions where I'm at, so I don't really need any of that anymore. I do want to be as environmentally conscious as possible, but I also want my car to run as well as it can. So once it comes into this other side, I do have this DNA blow-off valve right here. That one is from Amazon as well. I think this is a 40 millimeter. I think you can get them in 50 millimeters. And then it goes into my MAF. You want to have your blow-off valve before your MAF because you don't want it afterwards, or else it'll be reading air going through and out, which is basically like a massive vacuum leak. So it thinks that there's more air and it will give you the wrong air-fuel ratio. It then goes down, up, and then over. This is kind of a tight angle, and you can see that hose is a little bit squeezed, but it's not too big of a problem for me right now. Again, my build isn't necessarily going for power. I'm not going to try to drift this or anything. I just wanted a more fun car, really. And with this setup, I've driven it a couple times, and it is insane. It is unnecessary. You could probably get away with a much smaller turbo. It would spool faster, and it would be just as good. But it is really cool right now. But one thing I want to note, this does get in the way of my AC belt at the moment. It's like really close, but when it runs, it obviously it flips out a little bit. So I'm not running my AC right now. It is December, or sorry, it is winter. It's not December anymore. So I'm not running it right now. I will try to do something with that later. I'm going to see if I can push this one down and then underneath and tuck it under the other one, but we will see how well that works out. And then it goes up and into it. So I've got a couple reducers. I think this is a 2.75 to 2.5. My entire hose kit is 2.5. The MAF is actually a 3-inch diameter, so you will have to get some adapters for that. Other than that, guys, it has been a pretty crazy build. Pretty straightforward, but good. These, I actually swapped this tube. It used to be on that side, and then that one used to be on this side. And these go over to my just little catch can. It's just a really simple one at the moment, nothing too crazy. I will probably change that up a little bit later. I just needed something to kind of get running, because when you block off all your ports and then you change the intake, there's no place for it to go into. So you do need to do that. And I blocked off my PCV. It used to be where that little shiny cap is at right there. Other than that, I have a Walbro 450 fuel pump in it. It is E85 compatible, so if I ever do want to run that, I can. As terms of fuel injectors, I have, these are from the Infinity G37, which is also from a 370Z, and supposedly these fuel injectors are also in the R35 GTR. They're 550cc injectors. They are E85 compatible again, so I have all of that stuff. So these are massive injectors, and you can make a lot of power with them. So I'm really happy that I have that perfectly done. It did take a little bit of clearancing. I don't know how some people get these to fit right there. I have Paulnet all-net fuel rails that come through here, and it's just really difficult to get around this water neck. See if I can focus on it for you guys. But right there, I had to clearance my little fitting just barely, and even then it's still touching. So you can get the NPT 26AN 90 degree on Amazon, and that's what I would get if you guys are gonna do that. But again, I'll go more into detail on all of this when I go through my NA2T setup in a later video. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of what I have. So in terms of fuel, we got the massive injectors. We do have the stock ignition and everything. I'm going to replace this with an MSD super stack or something. So it's going to give us a nice real strong spark. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Other than that, guys, this is kind of where the car is right now. I've been having some problems with NIS-Tune, so that hung me up for a little bit. And then I also installed, I installed a wideband sensor. This is the cable right here. It's not really permanently installed yet. Right now I just kind of have it running in through my door because I couldn't get it through the firewall, because it's got a big connector on both sides, and the firewall is very difficult rubber to get through. So I'm either going to make my own hole and get a new gasket, a grommet for that, or do something else. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I have to say. I've driven it, like I said, a couple times, and it is absolutely insane. I will say the HX35, it is a very lazy turbo in that it doesn't really spool until 4,000 to 4,500 RPMs. So it takes a long time, but when you're still in the lower revs, it has good power. It's not like it's really just lugging or anything. So I drove it and I was like, maybe this is just what my turbo can do, you know? Maybe it's just like a little bit of boost. Maybe I got a bad turbo or something. And then I actually went all the way up to past 4,500 RPMs, and I was in second gear, and I was scared. Like, this thing makes incredible power now. My butt dyno tells me it's somewhere around 300 horsepower. I've been in a 200 horsepower car. I have an FRS, not technically mine, but I've driven in it. And that thing's pretty slow compared to this. This thing, it really scared me. So some things in the future that we might do are a different clutch, because we don't want to blow up what we have currently. Right now we have a stock XCD clutch, which is not bad, but it really kind of depends. You don't want to put too much torque through it, or you will just rip the clutch disc pretty much into a circle. You'll shred it, you'll shear it off is what it's called. There you go. So if you guys have any questions about my NA2T, go ahead and take a look at thezgarage.net, and then under write-ups, I'm already started on my NA2T article on there. Right now I have a parts list up. I'm pretty sure that's all I have, but I was videotaping this to do for you guys, but it took me about, I want to say, a month to do everything, and there was a point where I just kind of gave up. There was way too much to videotape, so I will go into more detail in my actual video on it, but the most detail I'm going to have is going to be online on that write-up. So if you guys are really interested in NA2T, go ahead and check that out. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great day. Go ahead and drop any comments you have down below, and I will see you guys later.